Welcome back again, second video today. Welcome to the Weekly Mailbox, the weekly Q&A over here on the F1 Reviews channel. Earlier today we launched our brand new, first ever podcast on the channel, the Formula E show. So if you've not seen that, go check that out. Still a few teething problems, but it's up and there if you want to go watch that. 3 questions today, less than usual. Last week we had a big long stream, hour and a half answering questions. So this week we're a bit dry, but we still have 3 fantastic questions, starting with this one from the Lord himself, Scandinavian, and he asks, do you think Verstappen is too aggressive and how can he tone down his driving? Okay, very topical question from Scandinavian here. Verstappen 5 major mistakes in 3 races. Now, they're not the sort of stats that look like he's going to be a future world champion. Is he too aggressive though? Well, compared to every other driver, yes, he's far more aggressive than every other driver that's on the field. I think that's pretty much a given, and I don't have an issue with it, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that's what makes Max Max, and that's why he is held in such high regard, because he takes these risks, these manoeuvres that could be considered overly aggressive, but it adds to the drama. So in terms of, is he over-aggressive? Is he too aggressive? In my opinion, no. Especially too aggressive. I don't think he's too aggressive, but for sure he's on the edge. And this season, it's just a bit of a blip. He's in a bad little bit of run of form. You think back to 2011 Lewis Hamilton, where himself and Massa would clash, seems to be every single race. But I don't remember as much. I don't know if that's because social media has evolved, if I've grown up and more aware of it, but I don't remember there being the same sort of questions about either of those two being too aggressive. So I just think he's going through a bit of a rough patch at the moment. Yes, I think he's aggressive, the most aggressive driver on the grid, like I say. I think that's for sure. And he's young. He's still inexperienced. He's, for the first time this year, could be in a title fight if this Red Bull is quick, and it's hard to tell after 3 races, which we've not seen for a long time, but it's hard to tell who's going to be winning this World Championship. It's hard to tell when we get to Spa who's going to be the top team. So, I mean, that's fantastic stuff, but I don't think he's too aggressive personally. But how can he tone down his driving? For sure, he can stop making less mistakes, and you know what, I think this is just a case of practice makes perfect. You know, once that limelight isn't on him, you know, if he has a weekend, a quieter weekend, I think that's all he needs now. A clean weekend, which at the moment he doesn't seem to be getting. And Baku being a street circuit, the tiniest error can be blown up in massive proportions. So for Max, he just needs a clean weekend, no issues, which, like I say, in Baku could be difficult. But he also needs to outscore Ricciardo. That is a must as well. In the 2 races he's finished, he's been outclassed by Ricciardo. In Australia, that big spin, we don't usually see spins in Formula 1, but hey, Max has done it. Was really a rookie mistake. Too aggressive in that particular instance. Maybe just got a bit frustrated, stuck behind the Haas, and maybe that's something he's got to do. Maybe he's got to calm down in himself, and maybe in terms of being too aggressive in his personality, yes, but I think his driving, you've got to think as well, he's definitely toned down from when he first went to Red Bull in the middle of 2016. You think of those, can you remember when he was being sort of slandered for those defensive manoeuvres where he would move in the braking zone? He doesn't do that anymore, so he's still evolving, still learning, and you know, these aren't mistakes at the moment putting other drivers in danger. It's just himself. Okay, maybe the dive bomb on Vettel, that goes against what I just said, but all the other mistakes have been personal mistakes, and like I say, just a clean weekend I think is all Max needs. So Scandinavian mate, good question, enjoyed that one. Something a bit different that was there, very topical. Enjoyed that one. Right, thank you Scandinavia. Moving on to another legend of the Q&A, the Weekly Mailbox, David Pesha. And he asks, apart from F1, do you like any other sports, like football, basketball, or something else? So, obviously, I like most other motorsports. If I can generally watch them, I try. So, Formula E, MotoGP, NASCAR. I've said a few times, I'm trying to get into NASCAR. Very difficult with the length of those races. And it's very different to other series in terms of how it's laid out. with each stints. They're called stages. Very difficult to learn if you're a new fan, but I'm trying. I watched it a bit last year, did struggle, but I'm still trying to get into that. MotoGP, I watched it for the first time last year, this year. But we talk about normal sports. Yeah, I like football. most British people do, I feel. Yeah, not going to tell you what club I support though. That's a secret, that one. But I do enjoy football. My team is in the Premier League, so I'll be interested to see what your guesses are for that. Other sports, not too much. Not really into rugby, basketball, American football, baseball, because I'm English, so we don't really have those over here to watch as much, so not into that. The Olympics, when that comes around, that's always fun, but really it's the motorsports where my true passion lies, so that's hopefully that's a good enough answer, David. Not the best answer, of course, but yeah, motorsports is my true passion indeed. So thank you, David, for that. And finally, I'm going to move on to the third and final question from Prince Boy, which I did actually answer in the stream last week. Now, as I said, lots and lots and lots of questions in that stream. Insane. I keep mentioning it. I loved it so much, that live Q&A, and it's a bit surreal that I was able to do it. But there was this question from Prince Boy, and he said, could Alonso start his own team? And it's a question that I answered in about 1 minute, 2 minutes, but really, this deserves more. I really think it does, and at first glance, you think, well, it doesn't need much talking about. But then, I thought about it a bit deeper. I thought, well, what's Alonso doing right now? Yes, he's in Formula 1. Yes, he's participating in the WEC. But he's also running his own go-kart academy that this year plans to build, I believe, 18 go-kart circuits throughout China. That's China alone. And I started thinking into it a bit more, and I remember Alonso himself being quoted saying he's on the search for China's first ever Formula 1 world champion. He's looking for Spain's next Fernando Alonso, Germany's next Michael Schumacher, Brazil's next Ayrton Senna. All these things, and I'm starting to think, well, if you think about it logically, the only route, the only connection all these things could have at the end goal, surely could be an F1 team. You think about Alonso's next steps after the end of F1. What's going to happen? Well, Prince Boy, this question, I loved it so much. It's really inspired my next documentary that will be coming out, hopefully, tomorrow. For you guys, focused around Prince Boy's question. A little bit different to Prince Boy's question, to be perfectly honest with you, but it gave me the idea. And so, Prince Boy, I wanted to thank you for that. Like I said, this week, the weekly mailbox is a bit different once again. Hopefully next week we'll get back to normal, but I wanted to end it on this question, and my one-word answer is yes. So, Prince Boy, thank you very much, man. That is, yeah, really love this question so much, and hopefully tomorrow, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Don't want to give too much away. But guys, if you've got any questions for next week's weekly mailbox, chuck them down in the comments section below. I'm always reading, and some of your questions this week, last week in the stream, were incredible. So if we could one-up them, that would be very cheeky indeed. I usually answer around 5 questions, so if we can get that, that would be absolutely magical. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always. If you're new around here, if you could subscribe and click that notification bell, that would mean so much. The YouTube algorithm is screwing me over at the moment absolutely royally, which is lovely to see. We're so close to 1k subs now as well, which is mad. That's insane considering we've only been doing this for, what, 4 months? That is mad. So thank you guys so much as always, and I'll see you in the next one.